is it for good!
And my actual eyesight is there, the high drive, deep center, go, 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 we're out of here, say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons!
And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning and welcome to the Pete Lamani Sports Complex here in Paulsboro, right off of 295, exit 18, as we've got our first Saturday feature of the 2024 football season, capping off our first triple header of the DWB 2024 fall. It's a good game and a good day between the Paulsboro Red Raiders and the Penns Grove Red Devils. It's a battle of the Reds, as we like to call it, and these guys are ready to go. This was a contested matchup and a highly sought-after matchup last year. It was a 22-19 final, and Penns Grove took the lead after a huge second-half comeback, and now these guys are back and ready for vengeance. This is one of those matchups where the scores on the bottom of your screen does not reflect the talent that these two teams have. John Emmel left Penns Grove this past season to go to West Deptford. They now have a new head coach on the Red Devil staff in Mark Macarone, his first season leading the Red Devils. But, for these guys, Penns Grove went 6-6 last year, but now these two teams end up meeting each other again in the same division. And after the 3-point game that ensued last year, it should be a good game tonight. But Malachi McKenzie, new starter for Paulsboro, and it's always difficult in your first game as a new starting quarterback in a new not in a new program per se, but in a new team. McKenzie taking over as a junior for Honorado, who graduated and is now wrestling Division I at Drexel University in Philadelphia. It's never easy for a quarterback to make their debut, especially versus a tough team like Penns Grove, but he'll have to shake off those jitters tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this team in general with Paulsboro. I mean, this is a rebuilding program. Now, I mean, you do look on paper, they do have a lot of juniors. There's a lot of 11s on this starting lineup. So, in general, with this program, like I just said, it's a rebuilding. It's going to be a rebuilding season, and especially with a new starting QB, I think it all will fit into one area, and that area is definitely going to be a feisty team. I definitely think they're going to be feisty, kind of similar to what we saw from Collingswood in last night's game against Clayton, where they weren't expected to win, but they were the more feisty team. They wouldn't go away, and they just kept on pushing. And I have a feeling we could possibly see the same thing from Paulsboro here this morning.
Yeah, and the thing that you were making the point of with Collingswood and Clayton last night, Collingswood returned 2 starters from the 2023 season, and they were able to win on a game that went down to the final 30 seconds. So, I think we'll see something similar tonight, especially from these two teams, Red Devils and the Red Raiders. These are two very disciplined teams that know how to run the ball well, might see a good mix of rushing and passing. Again, Malachi McKenzie, we haven't seen a snap of him on these cameras here. So, what we see from him might be completely, uncharted waters. But we'll see how these guys roll. Like I said, it's never easy to rock with a new quarterback, and it's never easy to rock with a new head coach, too. So these are two programs with a lot of different people at the highest end of the food chain that are, duking it out tonight, and especially with how heavily contested and how competitive that game was last year in October between Penns Grove and Paulsboro. Not going to be easy for either team, and should be a good matchup. I mean, Paulsboro has won the last 3 or 5 matchups. These two are common competitors, but I think Penns Grove right now, is maybe the team that has the edge on paper, but I think Paulsboro can definitely shock some people.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those situations, and we're going to see a lot of them this season in high school. But it is one of those things where you look on paper and you see, well, Penns Grove, it looks like they have the possible edge. But again, with Paulsboro, a new starting QB, I mean, there's just a lot of feistiness. Again, I understand there's a lot of guys playing together for their first time coming into Paulsboro. Like I said in the beginning, they are a rebuilding program, but I do think they're definitely going to be a feisty team. I would not count them out in any means. I mean, we already saw it last night. A great example of it last night here on DWB, and I think we may possibly see another example of that this morning.
We very well could. I mean, Paulsboro last year, their only win of the season under Kevin Harvey was an overtime win that we were in this booth for in late October versus Audubon, a 14-7 final. Paulsboro was looking to avoid their first winless season since 1912, and they are now looking to rebuild again and have a forward progression season under Kevin Harvey. Of course, the Glenn Howard era is behind us, but obviously such a legendary head coach here at Paulsboro, sectional championship after sectional championship like it was clockwork for Paulsboro, and now things are a little different here at the Pete Lamani Sports Complex. So we'll have our toss down there, and Paulsboro will win the toss. They will. So Penns Grove will receive. You just heard it there on the public address, but we'll take a quick break and introduce to you the introductions and as well as our kickoff here on this Saturday morning from Paulsboro High School. We'll be right back. will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in game one. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1-0.
Late switch for the visitors. Again inside their 5. Oh, they're going to pitch this one back for the flea flicker. Touchdown, West! Oh, my goodness! Taking inspiration from Nick Foles and Trey Burton. I think they just pulled off the Philly special. That is the greatest touchdown I have ever seen. Well, maybe not the greatest touchdown I've ever seen. Maybe that's stretching a little bit, but one of the greatest touchdowns we've seen in a long time. And it's a tie game.
Here from Paulsboro High School and the Pete Lamani Sports Complex, we've got ourselves a wonderful Saturday morning for some West Jersey Football League action. It'll be the Paulsboro Red Raiders in the red with the white numbers. Penns Grove in the white jerseys with the red accents on the right side of your screen. It's the Battle of the Reds, as we like to say here on DWB. Going to be a fun one. I'm Dan Wilkins here with my wonderful crew, Vincent Vogt and Ryan Sieber here on the production tonight and the color commentary and analysis. Actually starting a couple minutes early. At 10:28, we are underway with a low-hanging kick that'll go out of bounds. Headed towards Penns Grove's number 3, Anthony Brown III. But that will be a kicking out of bounds penalty. A little bit warmer than it was the first 2 days of this 2024 fall season. It's 79 degrees here at Paulsboro. It'll heat up to 85 by the time we're out of here tonight. So Penns Grove will take this over. After the kicking out of bounds penalty, they'll start from their own 35. Handoff by quarterback number 9, Romello Erickson Hubbard. And the whistle's blown after a gain of about 4 at the 42. That'll be second down for the Red Devils. But a new era for Penns Grove. As we said, legendary head coach John Emmel left to go to West Deptford in a leadership role with the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. Head coach Mark Macarone in his first season here at Penns Grove, assisted by John Beal, Kim Brown, Kyle Goodson Jr., Bryant Lewis Jr., Greg Macarone, Norman Roll, and Damian Ware. Handful of seniors on this roster, but a relatively young team. Actually, both of these teams relatively young in this 2024 campaign. Starting quarterback for Paulsboro, Malachi McKenzie, is a junior, class of 2026. Young on the carry there, and he gets stopped well short, and it'll be 3rd down and 4. Couple of our media friends in the house tonight. There's Al Muskowitz of Riverview Sports News in his old classic cowboy hat there, and the shorts that go down past the knees. But I'll have to interview Al Muskowitz at some point. He's a very interesting guy coming out of East Alabama. Moved here last year and has now started his own sports reporting company. And the reason why he's here is the Salem County concentration. Covers a lot of teams in Salem and Cumberland County, like Penns Grove, Pennsville, Woodstown. Rolling out to the right, that'll be enough for a first, and he gets hit out of bounds around the 50 from Erickson Hubbard.
Hubbard on the carry.
The 6-foot, 180-pound junior QB here for Penns Grove. But as we said, Penns Grove last year, 6-6 in the final year under the head coaching leadership of John Emelis. Here's a handoff to Brown. And that will get him about 4 or 5 yards. So Penns Grove is moving the needle here, definitely making it a little difficult here on Paulsboro's defense. But a 6-6 record, 2-1 in the WJFL Diamond Division. And as we said, this matchup between these two teams last year was their second win of the season after a 1-4 start, a 22-19 victory for the Red Devils. Here's a handoff to Brown again. They're going to say ball came out. Paulsboro is looking for a signal here. And that's Paulsboro ball. They recover. Unfortunately, though, there is a Paulsboro player down at the 40. So they do get the ball back, but now the attention turns to the Paulsboro player injured at the 40-yard line, resting on his left side here. That's number 50, John Blake, being attended to there by the Paulsboro staff. Don't forget, next week we've got another DWB triple header on the slate as we kick off the action with some South Jersey Group 2 action on Thursday, September 5th for a 6 o'clock start between the Lower Cape May Tigers and the Gloucester Lions from J.A. Lynch Field. Then on Friday, September 6th, we go big time with the Camden Panthers and the Kingsway Dragons, 7 o'clock start from Mullica Hill. And then Saturday, September 7th, we kick off our first of 4 games in a partnership with Woodbury High School, as it's the Haddonfield Bulldogs and the Woodbury Thundering Herd at a 10:30 a.m. start on Saturday the 7th. You can check out our full DWB football schedule on our Instagram and Twitter at DW Broadcasting. Penns Grove made it to the semis of South Jersey Group 1 last year, beating Florence in a low-scoring 6-3 final, and then falling to Woodstown 34-14 on November 3rd. But they started off the year pretty rough with a 0-3 start, losses to Burlington City, Pleasantville, and a 48-6 loss to Woodbury, before winning their first game of the year versus Salem. That is actually, I apologize, that is not John Blake. That is number 10, Jamar Martin, the tight end. So he will walk off under his own power, and we will get Paulsboro and their first offensive possession of the night. And Malachi McKenzie will have its first play at quarterback. Paulsboro had a tumultuous season last year, and you see it on the bottom of your screen there. They went 1-7 in the first year under the leadership of Kevin Harvey, and looks to avoid their first winless season since 1912. 113 years ago. McKenzie takes it from the shotgun. He'll drop back. He's in trouble. Finds room to the left. Finds a gap in the defense. Gets past the line of scrimmage. He's going to get a first down. On his first play from scrimmage, he gets leveled at the 40. So that will be a Red Raider first down on his first play from scrimmage. Obviously trying to pass the ball there, but he ends up finding a gap, and good execution there by McKenzie, being able to get out of that pressure. I mean, that's not easy for somebody to do in their first play from scrimmage. Eric Scott on the block, handed off by number 0, that being Kyer Harvey, the 5'4", 155 junior. And it's 2nd down and 9 after a yard gain there. Second and 9, McKenzie deep in the shotgun. Got to be careful to avoid a delay of game, and now they drop back. He'll get his first pass. He airs it out in coverage. What a catch! What a catch! Jeremiah Carr goes into the red zone. First down, Red Raiders. What a play, Jeremiah Carr. Falling away. I mean, he had a Red Devil defender all over him. That wasn't like you had a one-on-one coverage. He had elite coverage on him. Jeremiah Carr, with his 6-foot, .175 stature, setting them up now towards the goal line, and Harvey gets level. Jeremiah Carr gives himself an amazing play there. Let's take a look at that play. Second and 9, McKenzie deep in the shotgun. Got to be careful to avoid a delay of game, and now they drop back. He'll get his first pass. He airs it out in coverage. What a catch! What a... let's see here. Flag on the play. Before they got a snap, it'll be on Paulsboro.
Ball will go against the Raiders.
Huh? Okay. They're calling an offensive offsides. So knocking it back 5 yards. That'll be 2nd and goal from the 12. McKenzie again in the shotgun. I mean, they're utilizing the pass really well, and Harvey complete. So this might be a bit of a newer era here for Paulsboro. I mean, I thought these guys were going to rush the ball a lot more than they have been, but I mean, like we said, his first play from scrimmage. Tried to go for a pass and then had to find a gap in the defense, ran it to the left and got a gain of 24. And now it's 3rd and goal from the 11. McKenzie again in the shotgun. Drops back to the right side. He's got room, gets hit with a plethora of red and white. And that'll bring up 4th and short on the goal. Hit by Knowledge Young, Anthony Brown III, among others. So on the 6, we'll see if they bring out the special teams unit here. Actually, now that I think of it, we don't have a kicker or punter listed on the roster, so guess that answers that question. They will go for it on 4th and goal from the 6. And now we have more whistles. Paulsboro calls a timeout, and we'll take a quick commercial break. Our clock is reading 6:29 left in the first quarter. No score, but Paulsboro at the doorstep of the end zone. 6:29 left in the first. 4th and goal. Silver lining here is even if Paulsboro doesn't turn it over, and Penns Grove is going to call a timeout. Okay, so we came back from commercial for that. So both teams have 2 remaining, but let's talk about what we've got this week on DWB after today's game. On Wednesday, September 5th, tune in for some junior college soccer action in NJCAA Region 19 between Mercer County and RCSJ Gloucester. That's a 4 o'clock start. That'll be run through the RCSJ Media Club and Dan Wilkins Broadcasting at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, September 4th. Thursday, September 5th is our beginning of this DWB triple header between Lower Cape May and Gloucester. That's a 6 o'clock start from Gloucester City High School. And then Friday, September 6th is the Big Fish. It's Camden and Kingsway. 7 o'clock start, Saturday the 7th is Haddonfield and Woodbury. So both teams burn a timeout here early in the first quarter, and they got Penns Grove and their entire defensive line to jump, and that'll move them up to the 1. Not sure if they're going to do half the distance to the goal or they're going to do a full 5 yards. Okay, so they will do half the distance. So 4th and goal from the 4. Penns Grove looking to defend Paulsboro. And McKenzie's going to take this himself, not even thinking about it. He breaks through and he gets leveled. And Penns Grove will stop him on the stop by Knowledge Young. A knowledgeable play, to say the least. And that will be a turnover on downs. And Penns Grove is going to set this up from the 1, as McKenzie was just a yard short of the end zone. I mean, my thing is, this is a win-win situation for Paulsboro unless they somehow break through and get like a 50-yard rush on the first set of downs. You know, even though you didn't score, you've backed Penns Grove up against the wall already. You're kind of in the best position you can be. So even though you didn't get a touchdown on the board, you're kind of in the best spot defense-wise. So 1st and 10 from their own 1. Penns Grove back under center here. And not going to get anywhere on that. Looks like it's still out of the end zone. That'll be... Oh, did they get the ball back? Oh! So it just took one play, and Penns Grove turns it over for the 2nd possession in a row. They did what Clayton did last year in the Thanksgiving game. They got stopped at the goal line a whole bunch of times. They go on defense for a play, take it over, and now you're back at square one, and you're even better than you were before. This is like a 5th and goal, basically. Think about it that way. From the 1. And they'll talk this one over, but man, good start for Paulsboro, even with no points on the board. They've had a lot of lucky breaks go their way. Malachi McKenzie will take this one through on the QB sneak. Touchdown, Red Raiders. Their first of the season, and they get on the board first here versus Penns Grove. Like I said, that was the epitome of a 5th and goal here. That was perfectly executed. You couldn't get the ball going on the 4th and goal from the 4. You were a yard short, and this is as best as you can get.
Let me see. I see it, yes. The 6 on that feed, so. Will it work?
All right, we're back on the air.
For the Red Raiders, number 3.
Had a bit of an internet issue, but
Back 8 for Penns Grove. Number 6, Ron Caesar.
so Paulsboro will kick this one away.
I'm sorry, Bristol. Knowledge Young.
Sent away. They'll go to Young. Knowledge Young uses the knowledge to get himself up to the 45. With under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. That'll make it 1st and 10 for the Red Devils from the 45. But Vince, you know, what a drive that was for Paulsboro. They were able to get on the board first, and the fact that they did what they did, even with, like I said, basically a 5th and goal, they put themselves in an excellent position to score, and they nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a obviously team game from both sides of the ball for Paulsboro. It looked like, unfortunately, they turned over on downs, but the good thing is they had him backed up to their own 1-yard line, were able to get the ball back. And Malachi McKenzie, he's been absolutely incredible so far in his first start.
Yeah, really impressed by the junior McKenzie. He has been a menace on both the rushing game and the passing game. You know, the fact that you can have a QB who's an effective rusher while also having a weapon in the rushing game, and with good receivers like Carr, Sawyer Cabanas as well, Kyer Harvey. You know, these guys seem to be running whatever floats their boat, and they're adapting throughout this first quarter, and they'll probably continue to adapt throughout the rest of the game. 5:27 left in the first, 6-0 Red Raiders. Second and 7 from their own 48. QB Erickson Hubbard in the shotgun. He's going to take this himself. Gain of 1, and it'll be 3rd down in mid-range. Hold on here. Clock is stopped.
14 minutes?
Whitecap has talked about something. Is it an issue?
Yeah, it's all.
So it's an issue with the scoreboard.
There's 4 minutes on the clock, not 14 minutes.
Yeah, so the scoreboard down there says 14:36, but what I've been doing all night is I've been taking the 1 off at the end and just assuming that that's correct. But the other issue is that the score hasn't updated and it still shows 0-0 on both sides. So yeah, so we'll have to keep that score on our own a little bit for a while, as there's a pass on a 5-yard slant to the right, taken in by Young. It'll be enough for a 1st down across the 50 and all the way over to the Paulsboro 41. Able to convert there for 9 yards on the pass to Knowledge Young, who, again, has been, especially in this Group 1 environment, has been very valuable to this Penns Grove team so far. Has done a little bit of wide receiver, running back, defensive back, and kick returner. But everybody's a utility man in Group 1. Another handoff. No, it's going to be a QB keeper, and he'll get that one quite close to the first down marker at the 30. And we'll see if they move the chains. That's going to be close. It's not as close as I thought. It's going to be 2nd and 3 from the 31.
For Penguin, an 8-yard pickup, 62 at the Red Raider 32-yard line. I don't know. We don't know. It's only 3 minutes today.
Romello Erickson Hubbard, 18 for 44 in his passing attempts last year, 141 yards, and 8 interceptions with 0 touchdowns. Handoff should be enough to get him across.
Brown on the exit yacht line. 1st and 10, Penns Grove, Red Raider 31-yard line.
Six nothing Red Raiders, 2.5 minutes in the first. Red Devils lining it up from the 25. That gets stuffed. Second and 9. Line drive pass is a little high, but it's caught. Oh, spinning around, staying on his feet, and finally down is number 6, Karan Caesar, who was one of the big pieces to the Penns Grove club last year.
First and for Penns Grove.
I mean, there's not a lot other than incredibly positive praise you can say about Karan Caesar. As a freshman, rushed for 1,085 yards, 8 touchdowns in 152 rushes as a freshman. Imagine, having a freshman running back is strong enough, but having a 1,000-yard rusher, and the fact that they haven't used him more tonight is a bit surprising. But they're still getting everything started out here early in the campaign. And I think they're still figuring out, what roles they want to bestow with what players. Taken in by Brown.
Second and goal from the Red Raider 8-yard.
So they got about 30 seconds left. Yeah. We're told they're supposed to be getting new scoreboards soon, but that's the end of the first quarter. And they had 10 seconds left on the clock, too. So, Red Raiders take a 6-0 lead on a beautiful pass caught by Jeremiah Carr, and then a TD rush on a QB sneak by Malachi McKenzie. We're through 1, and we'll take a quick commercial break right after this. Here to second quarter, there is a scoreboard issue with the clock here at Pete Lemani Sports Complex. So they will be keeping the clock on the field, and we will look to keep the record as close and as accurate as we can possibly make it. As that one's right up at the goal line. Yes, now the entire scoreboard is down. It was originally working okay in the first quarter. It was working okay in the first quarter, and we were all good and dandy, but now they are keeping time on the field. Everything except for a couple of LEDs are blanked out on the scoreboard here. This is the same thing that happened with Audubon and Paulsboro last October. So right at the goal line, Penns Grove looking to tie this game. Like we said, the scoreboard on the bottom of your screen is unofficial, and we are looking to keep the time as accurate as we possibly can, and now there's flags all over. They were running low on time there and ends up getting hit for a delay of game. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 8. Again, we'll be trying to keep records as best as we can, but
We'll relay.
yeah, they'll relay the time every now and then in case we need a correction. Timeout Penns Grove, and a very frustrated Penns Grove player there, number 6, Karan Caesar, not happy with whatever was going on over there. So Penns Grove has already burned 2 of its 3 timeouts here on the first half, and we've got 10:51 here in the first half. So again, big thanks to the NJSIAA crew and the West Jersey Football League officials for relaying the clock up to us when available.
So, our annual day will be next Saturday, September 7th.
Yeah, so these guys obviously a very community-driven town, and as we said, we were here last year during the Paulsboro Day festivities, and if you remember, there was a carnival of sorts in the parking lot over there on the far side. They had some bouncy houses and all that fun stuff. But that's always fun. 6-0 Red Raiders. The clock officially is 10:51 left in the second quarter after a timeout burned by the Red Devils. And what do we got here? Whistles blowing. Timeout Paulsboro. Oh my goodness. Anything you can do, I can do better. Red Raiders call a timeout, and now both teams have 1 remaining in the first half. And this is really a week 0 problem. I mean, these guys are just getting ready, starting the season. But we'll be right back here. 6-0 Red Raiders, but Penns Grove on the doorstep.
Stop.
6-0 Paulsboro as Red Raiders and the Red Devils each trade a timeout. Both teams have 1 remaining. Dropping back to the right side. It's up and a leaping catch in the end zone, Knowledge Young. And the Red Devils tie it 6-6.
One for a Pittsburgh touchdown.
So Penns Grove does even the score here early in the second quarter. Both on our passing touchdown there that time. As Knowledge Young pokes it in right on the goal line for a 6-6 game. Now we'll see what they do here. I mean, Paulsboro's PAT attempt, and their 2-point attempt rather, was not good.
Knowledge Young with the Penns Grove touchdown.
This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School. Over 95% of students pass their Harper driving test on the first try. If you like those odds, book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. And also, we are always looking for small business owners who are interested in advertising for Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. All commercials you see on... Oh, there was a penalty on the play. Except, where was the celebration? I didn't see it, but they will kick this to try to make it 7-6. This will be sent away by Anthony Brown. It'll be held by the quarterback, Erickson Hubbard. And a line drive, and it's good. I mean, that was a laser. Honestly, I thought we would have seen our first crossbar hit in football history, but here we are. So what they're calling was an excessive celebration penalty on Penns Grove on the touchdown pass caught by Young. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. It's 7-6, but that's a good drive for Penns Grove there. They're showing that they can still hold their own after that, after being knocked down a peg. But as we said, we're always looking for small business owners to advertise on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. All commercials you see here on every broadcast are filmed, edited, recorded, and produced by me and my wonderful crew. All funds go towards college expenses along with travel costs and equipment upgrades. Packages start for as low as $250 for a 6-month deal. If you're interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send me an email today with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. And we will send you an advertising flyer with information. And we'll be able to get you on your way to getting your name in the advertising game in front of over 60,000 annual viewers here on DWB. So PAT is good by Penns Grove, a low-hanging PAT to say the least. I really thought that we were going to see like a soccer kick there. It was going to be more of like a PK.
25 yards.
So they'll be knocked back 10 yards because of the excessive celebration penalty. Again, I'd have to look back at the footage, but I didn't see like an excessive celebration. Here we go from the 25. That one's a good one by Brown. It's going to go back to the 25. It'll be taken in by Harvey. And he'll get taken down at his own 40. So Kyer Harvey gets 15 yards on the return. Well, the clock is back operating, but somewhat operating. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So the scoreboard's working now, apparently. Oh, boy. Solar powered. Handoff gets stopped for neutral game.
Number 5.
So Sawyer Cabanas on the carry there.
Sawyer on the wall.
Over to the right side. Pass by McKenzie is caught and falling away his car. I mean, this has been a great battery tonight between McKenzie and Carr. They have really made themselves work together very fluidly.
Three for the Red
And
Raiders.
I'm also very impressed that we have a passing quarterback as good as McKenzie, because you don't need to air it out every time, but 5-yard passes like that can be incredibly valuable to a team, especially in this Group 1 circuit that isn't used to seeing a lot of pass-heavy teams. But we're seeing, it's not like Clayton where we're seeing a rush every single play. These guys are passing and rushing about 50-50, and McKenzie will not find his receiver,
No,
Robinson, the intended receiver. That'll be 4th down and short. We'll see what they do here. Yeah, like we said, the scoreboard is kind of semi-functional, so we will try to, again, keep you all updated. Red Raiders will go for it. A surprising move, but we'll see what they do here. They're going to try to get ahead. McKenzie again deep in the shotgun. Goes back. Here goes a pass attempted, and it's kicked by Carr. He's done it again. He's at the 20. Oh, man.
19-yard line.
I don't know what else there is to say. Jeremiah Carr has made every difficult catch that has been thrown his way in coverage. We have 5:20 left in the half.
5:20 to play in the first half.
Man, what a play. McKenzie handoff. Kyer Harvey gets stopped. I mean, let's take a look at that phenomenal catch right there from Jeremiah Carr. Let's take a look at the DWB instant replay. Surprising move, but we'll see what they do here. They're going to try to get ahead. McKenzie again deep in the shotgun. Goes back. Here goes a pass attempted, and it's kicked by Carr. He's done it again. He's at the 20. We gotta get him an interview at some point. That was incomplete. Yeah. 33rd down. I mean, hey, he's passionate. And I thought I wouldn't have a voice after calling the thriller that was Collingswood Clayton last night, but man, that's a new level right there. He's able to get these guys riled up. Instead of the Philly fanatic, you got a Paulsboro fanatic. Third and long here for McKenzie. Again in the shotgun with Harvey to his right. Goes back to the right. It's caught on the dump off to Harvey. Even the first down. Harvey from 19 yards out gives the Red Raiders the lead here late in the second quarter. But we do have a flag. Let's see here. What's the call? Holding on the offense. For every great touchdown, there's about 3 holding calls. So that was, yeah, I wasn't surprised there was a flag there. But, hey, he dumped the pass off to Harvey. Gave it a good shot, but that one will be taken away. And they'll go back to it here after the holding call. They'll go back to 3rd and 12 from the 19. McKenzie goes back to the right side. And he gets hit a couple of times, and a helmet comes flying. That's McKenzie's helmet that came off. Second time this weekend that's happened. Happened in the Kip game as well. It'll be fourth down, as this time that was the quarterback's helmet that came off. Penns Grove's been hitting it hard.
21-yard line.
So they'll be at the Penns Grove 21, fourth and long, and whistles are blowing here. It'll be a timeout. Red Raiders, they call their last timeout, and we'll be right back after this. Got about 4 minutes left here in the second quarter. 7-6 Red Devils. Red Devils call their last time out of the half. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, the #1 stop in South Jersey for the most organic food products for your pet, along with toys, cages, accessories, and more. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. Fourth and long. McKenzie not taking the snap, but we've got a flea flicker. No flags, touchdown! He stole it out of his hands on the pass from Kyer Harvey.
Harvey is completed for number 3.
I was going to say, McKenzie wasn't even on the field for that play. That was Jasir Johnson who took the snap from the shotgun, the backup quarterback, after McKenzie's helmet was ripped off on the prior play. So he took the snap, and Kyer Harvey just gave the Red Raiders the lead. Oh, my goodness. They're going to go for 2 and try to make this an even 14-7 game. An incredible catch. McKenzie goes over, and it is knocked away. So it'll be 12-7. Oh, my goodness, Kyer Harvey. Do we have the replay loaded? Yeah, let's take a look at that. The most organic food products for your pet, along with toys, cages, accessories, and more. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. Fourth and long. McKenzie not taking the snap, but we've got a flea flicker. Incredible, man. I don't have words for that kind of catch. I mean, fourth down, and these guys were looking to make a play. Man.
Come up.
So Paulsboro now leads 12-7 after an incredible catch by Kyer Harvey.
Well, coach, he's not. He watched out my phone. Stop doing that. Myself did have a team. Kind of run this small hospital.
I mean, the fact that we've seen catches from Jeremiah Carr that have been amazing, Kyer Harvey with an amazing throw, and an amazing catch. But your running back throwing a game-turning TD. That's pretty similar to that trick play we saw versus Northern Burlington and Cherry Hill West last September. And now Paulsboro will get ready to kick off. All we know is that we've got under 5 in the half. It'll be sent away by Jeremiah Carr. Straight away, that goes to the 26. Taken in. Gets hit a couple times and falls flat at the 36 on the rush by Caesar. Either 35 or 36. But
number 7. That's Aaron Johnson. Coach Johnson goes to first and 10. 36-yard line.
But man, both of Paulsboro's touchdowns today have not been easy. And this is not going to be an easy drive for Penns Grove. and yeah, Penns Grove has had an effective offense tonight, and Paulsboro's defense has been good, but they've definitely poked some holes somewhere. And Penns Grove is going to have a chance to not only level the score but take the lead going into the halftime break. Here comes a pass driving to the left. That one's caught. He finds some room for about 8 yards. Pass was caught by Jameel Horace. On the pass by Romello Erickson Hubbard, who, as we said, threw for about 100 passing yards last year, and that's not too surprising considering he had people behind him in the hierarchy, if you will, and in addition to that, also ended up making a difference on the touchdown side as well. We saw Penns Grove twice last year. First time was versus, we only saw them once in the 2023 season. That was November 8th for a Thursday game at 10 a.m. And Paulsboro will call timeout. So all timeouts are exhausted here at the end of the second quarter. So, but Vince, I mean, Paulsboro's just had some incredible catches tonight. Jeremiah Carr has been kind of a human highlight reel, but how about Malachi McKenzie? His first varsity game as a quarterback, coming in here, kind of throwing Penns Grove for kind of throwing everybody for a loop here. He's mixed the pass and rush game well. He's always kept Penns Grove on the toes, and that's what's made this game good today, is that we've seen a lot of action, and you don't really know what's going to be next for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it every single time the ball is aired out, you're kind of questioning who's going to come down with it. At the beginning, you were questioning that, but recently, I mean, what we've been seeing from, two receivers in general, with Jeremiah Carr and as well with Kyer Harvey. I mean, he took it out of his hands. I mean, how many times do you see that? He ripped the ball out of his hands. So it's just been an incredible showing by this whole offense in general, not one specific guy.
It's been a team effort for Paulsboro tonight, as here's a rush up the middle to the 44. That'll be good for about a yard or two, but should still be short of a first. No, they are going to move the chains. So barely enough. Got just a hair over 4 minutes left in this first half. Stay tuned for the DWB halftime show, brought to you by Harper Driving School. We do have 4 minutes now. At Penns Grove Zone 45, need to stop here. Going over to the left side. It's maybe about 2 yards on that.
But number 51, Jerry Hazel. Second and 7. At the Penns Grove 47-yard line.
What's changing my number? I'm going on purpose. Looking up and another for one pass. What's that?
All right, so second and about 7 or 8. Going back. Lets it fly. He's got room. Oh, Knowledge Young about a step too far. That he would have been gone if he made that catch. But again, we've got human highlight reels all over the gridiron tonight. But just a slight overthrow, and he wasn't able to get in there. I think maybe a step, couple feet, and he would have been in the same. He would have been in a good position. Well, they want the ball, and they've gotten the ball a couple of times tonight. Penns Grove has turned it over twice on fumbles. Here he goes again. Line drive pass, and it's deflected. Intended for Young. Up in there in the coverage was number 6, Jamal Robinson.
Number 6, Jamal Robinson.
And especially now that Penns Grove is starting to mirror Paulsboro a little bit in the passing game, you can see Paulsboro has really stepped up its coverage in the secondary. They've made it a lot more difficult for Penns Grove to get clean passes out, and especially with Knowledge Young basically being their wide receiver 1, if you will, it's not easy for them to take this position. So it looks like they'll bring out the special teams unit and they'll punt. Lined up from their own 47.
It's 240 the last time.
That one's up. Strong punt. And it will land around the 25. That's where Paulsboro will take over. So they actually trap them in good field position. I mean, hey, for high school Group 1 standards, that's a good punt, and that's a good field position to start your defense out on from their own 25. Of course, Penns Grove started their one of their first drives of the half from the 1, but that was because of a turnover on downs by Paulsboro, which was then a turnover, which turned into a very quick touchdown for Malachi McKenzie, which was all set up on that amazing 33-yard catch by Jeremiah Carr. 2:42 left in the half. Making a couple changes here prior to the snap. McKenzie back over. It's struck by Robinson. Just knocked right in and out of the hands. Would have had a good gain on that one. Maybe enough for a first down.
Score is 12-7. Ball game.
Dropping back again. Oh, that's out of the hands of Eric Scott, who levels Young. Tried to grab it with one hand, as that was a bit of a strong overthrow. But Penns Grove has been stepping it up in their secondary, as has Paulsboro, and I think this could lead to a bit of a defensive gauntlet in the second half. If these guys just can't get any momentum going, might be a different storyline. But with about 2.5 minutes left in the first half, It'll be interesting to see what they can do in the 15-minute break. Try to figure out how to improve. McKenzie's going to take this himself. There's a flag in the backfield. Or there's a flag behind the line of scrimmage. McKenzie got about maybe 8 or 9 yards. But what is the flag for? Holding on the offense.
Call will go against the Raiders. The down touch. Fine. Fourth and 10.
So they'll send it back. It'll be 4th and 10.
The Red Raiders.
Whistle's blown by the referees.
It's Auckland, Washington. The clock should be running for his. He's got it. Right?
Not sure, but
No, the snack was a drop down. Oh, it's right.
okay. So now they're lining it up at the 35. So penalties decline.
And 5 for
Bring up
the
4th and 5.
think they're known.
Now whistle's blown again. Referees are going to confer. A lot of confusion here. Because it was a holding foul against Paulsboro. So
4th and 4.
they're lining it up 4th and 4 from the 35. I mean, deep behind the line of scrimmage is Jeremiah Carr, so it appears that they're going to punt. But just a little confusion there. And Carr will punt. Gets a good leg on that one, goes back to the 40, and it's going to take a good backspin. Did he touch the ball is the question. I mean, the body language is saying he didn't, but Penns Grove will now take over late in the second quarter, down at their own 30. But hey, again, a good punt by Carr here. And Penns Grove is going to have another shot to air a couple passes out and see if they can get some extra luck going into that halftime break. But, you know, this is the first varsity game for head coach Mark Macarone. Obviously, everybody's still trying to find their footing. Everybody is still trying to adjust to this new season. And we'll see what happens here. 1:44 left in the first half.
In the first half. On the snap.
From the shotgun, sends this to the left side, caught by Young, crosses over to the right side, not going to get anywhere on that, and that gets snuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Number 6, Jamal Robson, 2nd and 10. For Penns Grove.
Dropping back to the right side, caught by Brown. He gets a huge block at the 50, and he's going to get all the way to the opposing 40. A great block by the sophomore Caesar. And Anthony Brown, I mean, he keeps it in bounds, but that was an amazing block downfield. And of course, they don't have a lot of time, but they're going to try to figure out how to fix this, and trying to get into the end zone with, obviously, the referees communicating to the players how much time is remaining, but looking at under a minute here. Oh, he bobbles the snap, but he does recover. Now he's got time. He's deep in the shotgun. He goes over. It is caught by Caesar. We do have a flag. We do have a flag at the line of scrimmage, or behind the line of scrimmage, excuse me. Holding on the offense. You heard it everywhere. I mean, they got the pass off, but that'll at least stop them a little bit.
35 seconds to play in the first half. Fans are reminded those smoking on school property, concession stands are open, the restrooms are open, located behind the home forms.
In pressure. That is going to be trouble, and it's taken down by number 66, Jason Yandick. Jason Yandick on the sack there. That was number 66, Jason Yandick. See what they got time for here. Nobody's got time, and that is the end of the first half. So they do not get any offensive production home in time, but even with Penns Grove having good field position, weren't able to get it going in that second quarter, in that late drive. The score after a halfway point is going to be Paulsboro 12, Penns Grove 7. We'll be right back.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
They were able to get out unscathed in the third, but now the fourth isn't looking so kind. There's a high drive, deep center, way back, and it is out of here! John Pelosi, 3-run home run! He's left the building to dead center! And John Perosi's blown this game wide open. Have yourself a celebration, Johnny.
Will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in game one. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1-0.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders. Cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
I just have the cell out from it. That's true. What was that? What? Well, something just fell out of the ground. Yeah, right here. Right here. Hold on. Something just fell out of the boxes up there. This is up there. This goes. We'll be with you. Well, there's the Wi-Fi.
That's Penns Grove.
Yeah, that's not ours.
At the start of the second half, Paulsboro leads Penns Grove 12-7. A very interesting first half. We have had a lot of unpredictable moments, but how about Jeremiah Carr? You know, his touchdown late in that second quarter, an amazing catch where he rips the ball out of the defender's hand, and then he also had an amazing 40-yard catch down the short sideline that didn't lead, that wasn't a touchdown, but it led to one. But Paulsboro has been very impressive in this first drive, especially in a matchup where last year they should have won versus Penns Grove, but they didn't hold the lead and had a lot of issues after the game. So, um, this is a very relieving first two quarters for Paulsboro. How'd you feel that they did out there so far?
Well, I think the offense did exactly the job that they needed to do, and as well with the defense with holding them off at the end. Because remember, Paulsboro starts with the ball coming up in the second half. But I mean, going off of that wide receiver duo that we saw make a lot of good plays, being Jeremiah Carr and Kyer Harvey, they were all over the place, especially with Kyer Harvey practically ripping the ball out of the defensive back's hands to get that touchdown to put them up 12-7. Now, the only thing is, unfortunately for Paulsboro, they have not been able to convert on both of these touchdowns that they did get. Now, the only thing is, Penns Grove did convert on their one, which obviously
On their one PAT.
yes, for the score of 12-7. So right now, very important for Paulsboro to get a score here in this coming up drive to really put yourself ahead by more than one score, especially since, like I said, Penns Grove's been able to convert. Now, I'm not saying they'll be able to do that again because we saw that extra point that did go through, that did go through for Penns Grove. Just made it. It was a laser, but it just made it over the crossbar. So right now is definitely, a must to go down there for the best for Paulsboro to really get up two scores. And I mean, as well, with a incredible start by Malachi McKenzie for his first start. I think he's been playing very well. Now at the end, he did get popped a little bit with him trying to run the ball. I think Penns Grove's starting to get to him a little bit with seeing how he runs the ball. But all in all, for a first half and for his first start, I think it was a pretty good.
Very impressive for Malachi McKenzie. I mean, definitely for a team that, isn't known for a passing prowess, he's definitely introduced that to the playbook. Um, he's got incredible passing abilities, but it also is a matter of whether the defenses can figure him out. It's got to keep things fresh. And like you said, Penns Grove has been getting to him a little bit more in this later stage of the game. So now that they're getting into the, nitty-gritty of things in the second half, I definitely think that they might continue to get to him a little more. But if you just keep him as a pocket passer, he can definitely rush the ball through the gaps in the defensive line if needed. But at the moment, I think Paulsboro can advance the ball through those short 5-10 yard passes. They don't need to do too much with it. This is the first game of the season. It's a long season, and these guys are going to try to get through and extend their lead in the second half. So we're going to take a quick break. Paulsboro will receive to start the second half, and we'll be right back in 30 seconds. Getting ready to start quarter number 3. Here at the Pete Lamani Sports Complex, this will be sent away by Penns Grove's number 55, Kyrie Robinson. Returned by Carr. He gets a block. He's got 3 men on him, and he gets tugged out at the 45. And a huge return gets himself across the 50. And a very impressive kickoff return to start the second half here for the Red Raiders.
I don't know we will be on this foot, go down, then do my best to perform.
And we will do our best to keep y'all informed at home. You're watching coverage of the Penns Grove Red Devils and the Paulsboro Red Raiders here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com.
Great pass and back here from the bigger.
Oh,
Well, they think you're playing.
got a player down before we got a snap off. That's Robinson. Hope it's not something of a non-contact injury.
Go to the good side. Couple be good. It's tracking up there. Where's he at? It's just solid. So everybody's going to go there and teach himself. It's not here.
Still got a player down. That's Robinson. Seems like he might be dealing with a cramp of sorts.
It's just sure.
So the update that we do have on the scoreboard, and he will walk off the field under his own power. Luckily, it doesn't hold up too much, but they will hold time only on the scoreboard. No down, no distance. We will all inform you when able of what we've got. But sometimes got to do things the old-fashioned way here on DWB. But that's the good thing, is that the clock is running, and looks like Penns Grove jumped on that play.
The call will go against.
They'll move them up.
Sides. 5 for the Raiders. Penns Grove. 44 yard line.
So a great start to the drive for the Red Raiders. Just got even better. 1st and 5 from the 44. McKenzie, handoff up the middle. Sawyer Cabanas has room, and he gets down all the way at the 34 for a 10-yard gain and a definite first down for the Red Raiders.
Red Raiders. Not playing for it, right?
I mean, this is the Legion of Zoom, I guess you could say. Sawyer Cabanas, Jamal Robinson, Jeremiah Carr, Kyer Harvey, they are bringing it all. They are bringing the heat to the Red Devils here this morning. Drops this one off to Cabanas as well. He continues to find some room. He gets to the 25. It'll be 2nd and 1. Just short. How about Sawyer Cabanas? Back-to-back plays of 8 or more yards, and now Harvey is down on the far sideline. So Kyer Harvey, it is heating up a little bit here in Paulsboro. Expected a high of 85 today after back-to-back days of starting this football season with 70-degree weather. Another cramp timeout again. And another one for Robinson on the short sideline, but at least he's off the field. But, I mean, Vince, these guys are utilizing all of their assets. You've got Robinson, Harvey, McKenzie, Carr. This is a young core. This is really impressive stuff from what we're seeing. But as we said, there were a lot of issues with Clayton and Collingswood cramping last night. That game went on for the broadcast in total. We got done at 9:50. That broadcast was our second longest football game in DWB history at 2 hours and 51 minutes. The longest DWB football game was Palmyra and Gloucester Catholic last year, clocking in at 3 hours and 9 minutes. Clayton and Collingswood last night was 2:51.
Nope.
Not yet. Not ready yet. After this timeout, Paulsboro, after the 8-yard run by Cabanas, sets up on 2nd and short. But the good thing is, clock is running, or clock is working, I should say. It is up and functional, we should say.
Then I only one. That's the whole year left.
As we said, we've got a DWB triple header coming up next week. Thursday, September 5th, between the Lower Cape May Caper Tigers and the Gloucester Lions. Friday, September 6th, between the Camden Panthers and the Kingsway Dragons. And Saturday, September 7th, between the Haddonfield Bulldogs and the Woodbury Thundering Herd.
He pitched right the Schwarm too. He played. He was the coach of the team since really long. Okay. People I have like 3 favorite cow. Nothing happened. And then I'll stay together. Yeah. You see, my unit, see, so I am. Can you get one from family? That's Tommy's.
They're still attending the Kyer Harvey at the 30, and we were just about to go to break, but now he is standing. I hope that's a cramp, but you don't know, and he's getting some assistance off of the field. You hope it's nothing serious, but he's being assisted by an assistant coach to his right and to his left as he gets off the field. Paulsboro leads 12-7 here with 11:30, just 30 seconds into this third quarter. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Dog Wrestling. Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators rocks the Sacred Heart Church on 104 4th Street in Riverton on Saturday, September 28th. For a bell time of 7:30 p.m., tune in for our good friends over at their live streaming service that will be covering that match, including reigning champion Breaker Morant, along with former WWE Tag Team Specialist Tank Toland. Speaking of a tank, he drives through, and Sawyer Cabanas gets the rush for the 3rd time in a row and barges through for a 3rd straight gain of 8 or more. And by the way, thanks to Al Muskowitz, we do have some halftime stats. Jeremiah Carr with 93 receiving yards tonight. And Sawyer Cabanas already working his way up the ranks. But alas, here we go. And we're going to have a delay of game here. We were going to have a delay of game, but now the Red Raiders call a timeout. We'll take a quick break. We've got 10:49 left in the third. 7-12, Paulsboro. here in Paulsboro.
Fumble the play, recovered by the Red Raiders. They also played in the
Hold on here.
12.
Just lost our feed for a second. All right, just got that fixed. There was a fumble on the play, but recovered by the offense. It'll be second and long. Penns Grove and Paulsboro duking it out here in the third quarter. McKenzie handoff to Cabanas again. That'll still be third and long after a slight gain. And we do have a red double down now. I mean, again, you got to ask here in Paulsboro, it's 80 degrees.
Third and 12. Third and 12. Yeah, we must find that relation.
By the way, final from Battle at the Beach. Southern took down Highland 17-0. Final score. The thing about Penns Grove is that they not only had 1,000-yard running back, they had two. Another being Bryce Wright, and he was also a junior. 1278 was the rushing yardage for Bryce Wright in 210 attempts. Karan Caesar 152. And Karan Caesar also led all wide receivers in receiving yardage with 109. Everybody else was under 65. So Highland and Southern is the only final score from today. Some other Battle at the Beach games tonight. Oak Crest at Hamilton at 2:30. St. Thomas Aquinas at 4 o'clock. That's versus Mount St. Joseph in Maryland. That's not Battle at the Beach, though. For the other two games of Battle at the Beach, it is Cedar Creek at Camden East Side at 5:30 and West Windsor Plainsboro South at Egg Harbor at 7:30. Both Friday and Saturday games are at Egg Harbor Township. But other Saturday games today, Neptune at Manasquan at 1, St. Francis, Maryland at St. Joseph Montvale at 1. 1 o'clock game as well, Del Barton versus Iona Prep, New York. Columbia versus West Side in the Mountaineer Classic. And at 5 o'clock tonight, North Hunterdon versus Hunterdon Central. And catching you up on some final scores from throughout the weekend, Manchester Township kicked off the season with a 26-21 win versus West Deptford at Battle of the Beach, and Mainland took down Atlantic City in a high-stakes matchup 30-18. Line drive pass caught by Carr. That'll get him close to 100 receiving yards. That'll be fourth down. Also, Battle of the Beach, Ocean City beat Cinnaminson 35-7. Riverside beat Palmyra 28-22. We've got another Paulsboro player down? No. Oh, I just got up. Okay. Shawnee beat Northern Burlington on Thursday 33-6. Kingsway beat Eastern 23-6. Overbrook shut out Buna 36-0. Triton shut out Cherry Hill West 30-0. Vineland shut out St. Joseph Hamilton 24-0. Gloucester shut out Pennsville 14-0. Brick Memorial beat Allentown 23-20. And Cherry Hill East beat up on Clearview 38-0. Florence beat Deptford 33-14. And in our Thursday game, Kip Cooper got their second franchise win over Gateway 16-0. There's your Thursday roundup. 4th down and about 8. McKenzie in the shotgun. He's got Caden Weber to his right side. McKenzie rolls out to the right. He looks to pass. He gets hit. Before he can get a throw down, he finally goes to the ground after 2 Penns Grove defenders on him, and they force a turnover on downs. I mean, it's like the ball was glued to his hands. He just didn't get a throw down. I don't know. I didn't think I saw anybody really open. And Penns Grove will take over around their own 20. And for your Friday roundup here on Friday, August 30th, Cedar Grove took care of Shalek at the Battle of the Beach opener on Friday from Egg Harbor, 41-3. Washington Township beat Northern Highlands 23-8. Cherokee beat Middletown South 30-0. And along with some other South Jersey scores from last night, Holy Cross Prep beat Academy of the New Church in Pennsylvania 18-10. Lakewood beat Ewing by a final score of 22-20. Passaic Tech beat Lenape 14-10. Winslow, the number 8 team in the state, knocked down Montclair 21-0. Bishop Eustace beat Sterling 24-7. And St. Augustine took care of Donovan Catholic on the road 35-6. Hull Sixth had an easy night at Nottingham 42-7. Meanwhile, Camden took care of St. Christopher in Virginia 39-17 in Richmond, Virginia. Haddonfield beat Burlington City and the Blue Devils last night 22-12. Collingswood beat Clayton in a thriller 30-26. That's the one we were at last night. Lawrence beat Princeton 29-21. Point Pleasant Borough took care of Steiner 49-7. Williamstown beat Seneca in a one-score game 21-14. Bridgeton beat Lower Cape May 12-3. It was Bridgeton's first win since November of 2021 and the first under their new head coach and their new leadership over there as a part of the Bridgeton Bulldogs. We'll be seeing the Bridgeton Bulldogs on Thursday, September 19th versus Deptford. And then our final score from Millville beat Holy Spirit 35-0 as the nightcap of Battle at the Beach. And Watchung Hills beat Morristown in a North versus South battle in Week 0, 31-7. There's your Saturday roundup here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Penns Grove gets the ball back from their own, looks like 19, as a handoff. He gets leveled and taken down for a gain of about 4 or 5 from Knowledge Young on the carry. Or excuse me. Excuse me. That is, I apologize. That was Anthony Brown, and we do have another Paulsboro player down. You're curious if it's a matter of heat, because it has been hotter today than it has been the last week. It's about 85, maybe a little less. It's gonna be a high of 85 today, but it's also a hydration issue. You know, there's a player right now on the sideline being attended to for a cramp on the Paulsboro side, so it's more than one player, and you know you have to be concerned about who is getting the opportunity to get proper hydration, get proper rest, to avoid these cramps. It's the same issue we saw last night. The first half was pretty smooth, and then the second half, when these players started to wear down more and more, you ended up seeing these just cramp after cramp after cramp, play after play after play. And it's not easy to keep these guys at 100%. We're going to take a quick break here on DWB. 8:23 left in the third quarter, 12-7 Paulsboro.
3 down.
12-7 after a break for a cramp. Paulsboro gets back in it on defense, 2nd and 4 from the Penns Grove 25. Here comes a handoff to the left side. And he gets taken down. Number 9. As the quarterback, Erickson Hubbard, took it himself.
On play. 3, 5 for Pennsgrove.
3rd and 5 for the Red Devils. But obviously not a whole lot of time left. I mean, you do have a lot of time, but I'm saying for the purpose of, you have a choice to make here. You know, you can continue to run the ball on the ground, or you can try to air it out and make something happen.
Squeeze for Alford. Okay, of course, right.
Dropping back on 3rd and down. A 3rd down, they'll have him finally taken down. Number 17 on the tackle. And on the sack, Marcelo Jimenez. It'll be 4th down for the Red Raiders. And they contributed the best they could on defense. That's exactly what you wanted right there. Shut down the party, leave no questions, leave nothing up to chance.
Varsity. Jeremiah Carr for the Red Raiders.
So Penns Grove will punt on 4th and 8. Punt gets blocked, or it might have gotten tipped. It'll get picked up at the 48.
Over.
I don't know if the punt was tipped or if it was just a bad angle, but Paulsboro takes it up in a prime position at the 48. Yep, 6:10 left in the 3rd here. Don't forget, we've got 3 boys soccer games scheduled for the 2024 DWB Fall Campaign. September 25th is going to be one of our more fun ones throughout the campaign, as it's going to be the Clearview Pioneers and Delran Bears. As Delran, now without their 3-time NJ Player of the Year, Drew Roscos, who's now kicking it over at Bucknell University. Thursday, October 3rd, between Pittman and Audubon in South Jersey Group 1 action. Here comes the handoff, and some big hits. He almost went into the... Oh, we got a late flag. We've got a very late flag.
Get out your 50 tickets.
And let's see here. Might be a personal foul. Personal foul on the defense. Those benches are very close to the field of play, I'll tell you that. Yeah, 15-yard penalty for the personal foul. That's great for the Red Raiders. John Giovanetti helping out on the fun here. 1st and 10 from Sawyer Cabanas. And Cabanas gets about 2 or 3 yards. It's groovy. 2nd and 7.
Grand Lord, Juniors and Marching Band.
2nd and 7. Once again, hands off to Cabanas. They have been really using the heck out of Cabanas here in the third quarter. I think after what we saw with Robinson earlier, I mean, he's still kind of stretching himself out on the sideline, but hasn't put his helmet on. Same with Kyer Harvey. So I don't know if they're just, because it's a week 0 game, if they're just going to limit his use and if they're not going to use him for the rest of the game. I'm not sure, but either they're trying to limit their use and avoid a huge early season injury, or, I mean, they're still dressed. They just don't have helmets on. Harvey, who threw the second touchdown pass to Carr, and Cabanas now on the sideline. Weber back into Malachi's side. He gets rushed out. He'll drop it off to Caden Weber, who's got room. We've got a flag. He goes down the sideline. The ball came out. And now Paulsboro is going to recover, but they're going to wave this off as a flag. Might be bringing this one back. Weber, who went for 35 yards on that play, is going to get brought back with a hold on the offense. Honestly, I don't even know, because Weber kind of dropped the ball in the end zone as he was getting hit. And then it was picked up by Marcus Eli. It's a bit of an unusual play and an unusual sequence, and now they'll knock him back. So they'll go right back to the 30 here. That's the second touchdown tonight to be called back. 3rd and 7. Big spot for Paulsboro here to try to extend their lead here midway through the third. McKenzie drops back. He's got 2 men on him. Hit as he throws. No flags, and that'll be 4th down. I think maybe a half second later, and you're talking a rough in the passer situation, but they got out of it. Fourth and 7 after McKenzie being hit as he threw. See, Harvey and Robinson are stretching on the sideline, but are not with helmets on. So I think the philosophy is Red Raiders will call a timeout here. I think the philosophy might just be they're going to try to rest them as they can and get them ready for the week 1 game, because worst thing you could have is probably an early huge injury to one of your star guys like Harvey and Robinson. And if Sawyer Cabanas can do the trick, then yes, you can rest those guys. And they're very lucky to have those resources they can use to fall back on. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Fourth and 7. Cabanas moving to the right side of the quarterback, Malachi McKenzie. McKenzie drops back, dumps a pass, but it's tipped. It got deflected and it hit the ground before Cabanas could catch it. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because Cabanas was on the ground well short of a first. And with 4 minutes to play in the third, turnover on downs gives it to Penns Grove. First and 10 from their own 30. Penns Grove setting up again in the I form. There comes a handoff to the right side for Karan Caesar, and he'll get about a yard. Second down.
Some of them that sound like a funeral, it's got to go help them though, right? Boy, yeah, where's their identification and everything like that?
About 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It's been a long third quarter. We're here at 12:33. Game is already 2 hours in. We've had 3 long games all weekend, as there's going to be a flag on the play on the reception by Knowledge Brown, and Eric Scott now limping back to the play. But we'll see what the flag is. Might be, since it's behind the line of scrimmage, might be on Penns Grove here. I'll be against Penns Grove. Illegal formation. Too many men in the backfield. Line drive pass is deflected and dropped. Third down and long. Of course, the Paulsboro band playing September. They're about a day too early. That changes over in about 12 hours. Hard to believe. Already getting there. These guys are about to get ready to start school again. It's crazy. Third and long. Rushing the line. Here comes the QB rolling out. Sidearm pass caught by Knowledge. He'll get this one up to the 45, and that'll be enough for a Penns Grove first down. As a nice catch hugging the sideline by Knowledge Young. And if your team as a whole can convert on those third and long plays, you're going to set yourself up for success. By the way, some other out-of-town score updates. Rancocas Valley leads Pascack Valley 7-0 early in the first quarter. Big hit. And a tackle for a loss for Penns Grove. And by the way, at the end of the first quarter, By the way, at the end of the first quarter, Burlington Township leads Absegami 14-0.
Yeah, you're working though.
Handoff to the right side by the QB, actually. It'll be QB keeper. It'll be a little short of a first. As we're heading down on the last 100 seconds of the third quarter.
Take a shot, something football lesson.
Third and short, handoff. He's got it. He's got more than a first down. He gets across to the 39 on the handoff by Brown, but there is dirty laundry on the field. Yeah, we do have a flag. Sounds like holding against Penns Grove. The penalties are killing both sides tonight. I mean, they are. Oh, face mask call is what we're hearing. On the defense. I mean, we thought that ball was going to be coming back. And then at the last second, they said, no, face mask on the defense. First of its kind that we've seen called this year. But it'll be 1st and 10 from the 37. Penns Grove, after what has been basically just a slow third quarter, is going to try to get on the board once again as there's a handoff that'll go to the right side. About 45 seconds left. And we've got another player down on Penns Grove side. Tom McGurk had a tweet a couple minutes ago. He said, I have to check the record books, but it might be the most delays I've ever seen for cramps. But I've certainly seen more.
Yeah.
And it's been on both sides. I mean, last night we were talking about the problem that Clayton was having cramps like every single play. Saying Hollingsworth started having the same problem. They all got worn down at different times at different stages. But after the face mask call and the rush, it'll be second and midway. We'll take a quick break. We've got about 40 seconds left in the third quarter. We'll be right back. Clock is running now. Under 30 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Now, just five seconds.
Going to have time for like one more play. They're taking their time. Yeah, all right, they'll get it off with about 5 seconds left. Didn't get anything on that. Oh, and a late hit there. That'll mark the end of the third quarter on the rush by Anthony Brown. And at the end of the third, still no changes in the score since the half. It's Paulsboro 12, Penns Grove 7. Another quick break, and we'll be right back with 12 more minutes of action here at Pete Lamani Sports Complex. Fourth quarter is amongst us here in Paulsboro. And Penns Grove will get it started on a third and mid-range, dropping back. Line drive, pass deflected, intended for Kylie Goodson. It'll be fourth down. And they need to get a first down here because you don't know how much time you're going to have left. And, you know, for the remainder of this game, now that we're in the fourth, we're in the home stretch, this game is a lot more low scoring than we saw last night. And somebody's got to try to get a score home here. Penns Grove breaks from the huddle. Fourth and 6. Drops back. Another chance for Hubbard. He lets it fly, but it's over the head of everyone, including Anthony Brown and the defender, the DB defending him, Marcus Eli. And that will be a turnover on downs. I think they tried to do too much with it. I think they should have ran on third down. If you need to, pass on fourth and short. But these guys haven't been too successful on long-range passes. You can convert on 5 and 10 yards, but it was fourth and 6. They didn't need to throw the ball more than they needed to. He tried to throw the ball 20 yards when all you needed was to get to like the 20-ish yard line. I don't know if I agree with that one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, especially with seeing how some positives have came out of the passing game today, with some throws just being absolutely big time gains. But then again, like you just said, the passing game, although it has had its positives, it hasn't been a lot of positives, and that's one of the situations that we're looking at right now. So as the fourth quarter is going, start to look out for those time-consuming drives. Now, obviously, I don't know if that's what the coaches are, specifically looking for. But I mean, now as we enter into the fourth quarter, obviously it's still the beginning of the fourth quarter with 11:48. Right now you have to look for those time-consuming drives. You don't want to just have the ball and go 1, 2, 3 and out. You want to get momentum in your column, and you don't want to give the other team the opportunity to gain momentum right now. So with Paulsboro right here, they need to have a positive drive.
Absolutely. And we saw last night Collingswood and Clayton. That drive that basically won Collingswood the game, they got 30 yards and burned 5 minutes off the clock. That's exactly what these guys need here. You're at your own 35. They're gonna have to play it smart. They're gonna have to figure out something. But Another cramp on the far sideline for a Penns Grove player. That's once again number 7, Knowledge Young. Penns Grove led by Mark Macarone making his head coaching debut as a member of the Red Devils, assisted by John Beal, Kimir Brown, Kyle Goodson Jr., Bryant Lewis Jr., Greg Macarone, Norman Roll, and Damian Ware. Paulsboro led by second-year head coach Kevin Harvey and assisted by James Davis, Kevin Johnson, Darius Quarles, who is also the basketball head coach, Kyle Jones, Rick Eli, Frank Daminger, and Vaughn Scott. Paulsboro last year went 1-7.
This week there will be two scheduled for a day. We can celebrate Labor Day this month. Fall sports will start on Tuesday. Please check our website. For field hockey, first sport field hockey, boys and girls soccer. Boys soccer game September 3rd here at Paulsboro High School. 5th away. Boys soccer at Gateway. Girls soccer will be home September 5th against Gateway.
We'll take a quick break. 12-7 Paulsboro, 11:48, 12 seconds into the fourth quarter. Back on air here, 12 seconds into quarter number 4. That was our 14th stoppage of the night as Harvey, who is back in the game. Still no, Jamal Robinson is on the sideline, but good to see Harvey back in after taking the third quarter off. I mean, there were some rough injuries and rough situations. Do we? Get some Pedialyte or something. I don't know, but. Second and very short after the completion to Harvey. Should be second and inches here. Cabanas takes it again. Cabanas breaks through. He's got room. He does a somersault at the 42 and gets taken down.
Victory of the 44-yard line. 10 Red Raiders. That's going to be the rest of the on football for it. All right, coach. That's how I got to it. Twelve seven us. 12-7.
First and 10, handoff to Cabanas. It's laid out. Taken by number 52, Najee Nocho Painter. 2 yards, second and 8. As we are under the 10-minute mark here in regulation.
2-yard line.
9:59.
9 to play in the fourth quarter. With the score, Paulsboro 12, Penns Grove 7.
So low-scoring gauntlet here tonight here in Paulsboro, and definitely I don't know if it's the most compelling of the 3 games we've had, but all 3 games have been compelling. Kipp and Gateway, Collingswood and Clayton, all very good games. So we've lucked out this opening weekend. Handoff gets taken for a loss, and it'll be 3rd and long. But this is what Penns Grove needs. You know, they didn't convert on that last drive, and Paulsboro is right now trying to wind down the clock. The clock management in high school football starts as early as the end of the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th quarter. You are trying so hard to make sure that nothing gets past you and just push the ball as much as you need to. Now, these guys might try to pass. I mean, Malachi McKenzie has had a lot of success with passing. Jeremiah Carr's up over 100 receiving yards to this afternoon. So I wouldn't be too shocked if they go for it. But here, especially in the second half, they've laid off the pass a lot. Meanwhile, the pass has gotten them one of their 2 touchdowns and directly led to their first touchdown. So I feel like in this kind of situation, yes, you're trying to wind down the clock, but you should definitely try to use your passing game more. How about this? Speak of it, and they will arrive. We've got a flag on the defensive side, and McKenzie gets taken down. Had a flag come in from the back. Holding on the offense.
Holding call will go against.
Wouldn't have gone too far anyway, because McKenzie got tripped up within 10 yards of the first. Looking at another shot at 4th down. Penalties decline. It's 4th down and about 10. And they will go back to punt. Need a good kick here from Carr. Definitely need to get himself in a rhythm here. Because if this punt has any problems with it, Penns Grove is going to give themselves prime field position. That punt is high, and now they're going to call false start on Paulsboro. So they said there was movement on the offensive line. So the punt will get moved back. Probably a good thing they got a false start because the first snap wasn't all that great. And Carr with a nice punt. Over to the 23. It'll be taken in by Knowledge Young. He's got some room on the far sideline. Whistle's blown around the 39, 40-yard line. And defense will take over. I mean, hey, they got about maybe 15 yards, 20 yards on the return. Could have been a lot worse. And Penns Grove sets up with decent field position, but not field position that Paulsboro can be extremely worried about. Right now, Paulsboro is still in the driver's seat, but 6:52 left in regulation, and it's a 12-7 game. I think if Paulsboro hangs on to this, your player of the game has to be Jeremiah Carr. I mean, some amazing catches, over 100 receiving yards, and then props as well to Malachi McKenzie for making the best of a bad situation and throwing up some good dimes as well. Penns Grove in the I form, handoff. Gets some room, breaks away, and gets taken out at the 45 on the other side. Should be good for a Penns Grove first down. Taken in by Karan Caesar, who was one of 2 1,000-yard rushers for Penns Grove.
5-yard line.
The other being Bryce Wright. Handoff gets taken in by number 27 for Paulsboro. That is Harris Graves. 5-yard pickoff will be 2nd and 5. A hair over 6 minutes left in regulation. It's 12-7 Paulsboro. Definitely a fun game for us, even though it has been a little long with 14 total stoppages for cramps and injuries. Handoff from the QB. Spins around for Brown. He'll get to about the 39, but I don't think it'll be enough to move him up for a first down. It'll be 3rd and short. But Penns Grove is kind of, waiting for that situation to fall into their hands when, if they can rush a couple balls across, they're kind of doing the job of both sides. They're winding the clock down so that if they do score and take the lead, well, then Paulsboro is going to have to rush with 2 or 3 minutes left on the clock to score again, which is not an impossible task, but certainly difficult. And Penns Grove has to get in the end zone first, and I think they just got a step closer with a first down. They're going to spot this, and they will move the chains for a first down for the Red Devils.
Iron down.
Definitely going to need something big here on 1st and 10. So now running it back. Oh, wow! From below the legs, taken down by number 23, Marcus Eli.
Oh. States. That's 4 minutes with the points. 4 minutes. 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. So the Falcons. What starts today?
Long time called here. Penns Grove calls timeout, and so will we. 3:30 left in the 4th, and that's how quickly time can run down in a span of just 1 or 2 plays. It is 12-7. We'll be right back. 3:30 left in the fourth quarter. Paulsboro lead by 5, but Penns Grove ever so slowly trying to creep their way into the end zone. It's 2nd and 8. Just trying to make an impact here. And a handoff. He finds some room. He gets up to about the 31, maybe the 26, actually. I apologize. It'll be 3rd and short. And that's another big thing for Penns Grove, is that the more first downs you get, you're kind of getting an extra lease on life here on 3rd and short. You can punch the ball through for a first, and then you reset. These guys are setting it up perfectly for Paulsboro to where if they play their cards right, they'll score, and then Paulsboro will have to rush to get that score back. So clock management works both ways. It's a two-way street. The defense now has to make sure that Penns Grove doesn't end up using their time wisely, and Penns Grove is trying to make sure that as much time as possible is wasted so that they can get through. That looks like a first down. And it most certainly will be at the 22, setting up for a good finish here. Going down to the final 2.5 minutes. So barring any stoppages, here's the thing. Penns Grove still has to get into the end zone, and they haven't done that yet. .2:15 and counting. Paulsboro's 2 touchdowns, and in fact, all 3 touchdowns in this game came in the first half. Paulsboro struck first, scoring on a goal line rush by quarterback Malachi McKenzie. 1st and 10, got a man in motion, that being Brown. They hand off to Caesar, and he gets maybe 3 or 4 yards out of it, and now they're down to our final 105 seconds. Now they're kind of running out of time. I mean, now they have to advance the ball more and more. They've almost wasted time so well that they wasted too much time. Because I wouldn't bet trying to score on the goal line with 20 seconds left. That's not something I'd be comfortable with. I'd be comfortable with like a minute, 45 seconds, but there's a limit to it. These guys right now are on thin ice. 2nd and 6. Believe these guys do still have a timeout left. As a pass, wow! He went right into the chest of number 21, Justin Holloway, as the pass is caught, and timeout will be called. And yes, timeout will be called by the Red Devils after that nice catch by Anthony Brown. We are now at, it looks like 51 seconds left. Yes, 51.7 is on the clock. But that still wasn't enough for a first down. They're still at 3rd and 4-ish, maybe 3rd and 5. I don't feel too confident about this. I feel like Paulsboro has a chance to ramp up the energy in the stands, ramp up the band, ramp up everybody on the, all 22 guys on the field, and make a goal line stand. And it would be huge if they did. They just got to make a stop here. All comes down to this. Hey, second night in a row where the game comes down to the final possession. Paulsboro in their season opener last year lost to Haddonfield 35-7. Dropping back. Lines a pass on the sidearm. Goes right through the hands. His hands were a little too wide for Knowledge Young. Wow, 4th and 5 from the 15. Things are getting tense here with 46 seconds left. Listen to this crowd. As the athletic director, John Giovanetti, cheering on the crowd, telling his men to stand. The last time Paulsboro won a season opener was August 27th, 2021, with a 17-3 win over West Deptford. Dropping back to the left. He's in trouble. He's pulled by the jersey. He is down. And a turnover on downs will win the game for Paulsboro. No flags. That was beautiful right there. That was beautiful. That's how you win the ball game. And a very hyped up crowd here in Paulsboro. I thought they might have been able to get the playoff, but Paulsboro has been the luckier team tonight. And they've put themselves in better situations when it matters. 39 seconds.
51 made the tackle.
That tackle, the game-winning tackle, made by Jared Hazel. And we'll see Penns Grove again on Friday, September 27th versus Woodstown.
Get up. Get up, man. Get up.
All right. The Paulsboro Trent is winning 12-7.
27.
A very exciting game, I'll tell you that. I mean, you don't get much better than that. Starting your season off in front of the home faithful, getting yourselves in a great situation. You can't ask for much more than that. The last time they won a home opener, I should say the last time they won their season opener when it was at home, a lot of times they've started the season on the road, but this year was a little different with the new two-year cycles in the WJFL division. Last time they did it was all the way back in 2014 when they went 10-2. They beat Haddon Township 57-6 to open the season. And what a close call for Paulsboro. It went down to the final play, went down to nearly the final whistle, and an excellent performance tonight by both clubs, really. I think it should be noted, you know, these are two very good teams, and just incredible performance tonight from both sides, and you know, really should be noted how good these two teams were. I mean, you know, Vince, we saw with Penns Grove tonight, they got that touchdown earlier in the game, and they just didn't seem to find their rhythm. Not that they did anything wrong, but it's that Paulsboro was just on top of them all night. It wasn't like they were making major mistakes. Penns Grove was doing what they needed to do, but Paulsboro was just one step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was something where they didn't back down. And again, at the end of the game here with Penns Grove especially, they were doing their job to the point where they did their job too well, and they wound too much time off. Now, the original idea was probably to wind the clock down to the point where you put pressure. You want to score and put pressure on Paulsboro. Didn't quite do that. They ended up winding it down too much where they put pressure on themselves. And there at the end, I mean, it was an awesome sack by Jared Hazel to end the game, to completely, I mean, put it away. The fans are going crazy right here. So it's just something very nice to see. The home crowd go crazy. But I tell you what, this was a very good opener. Both teams definitely put in a lot of sweat into this game. But guys, we get the highlight. I mean, 100%. I mean, you have Jeremiah Carr.
Jeremiah Carr's got to be up there.
I mean, it was incredible.
He got that incredible catch, maybe catch of the week, where he rips the ball out of the defender's hands, and then it wasn't a touchdown, but he had that play in the first quarter where he makes this nice catch for 40 yards, and then a couple plays later, Malachi McKenzie gets in the end zone for the first touchdown of the night. So I definitely think that Jeremiah Carr, with over 100 receiving yards on just 5 or 6 receptions, he's got to be up there for player of the game. You know, as somebody coming in as a younger player, he's a sophomore class of 2027. You know, this is a young guy, and we're going to see a lot for him. For the fact that Penns Grove last year had 2,000-yard rushers with Bryce Wright and Karan Caesar, an excellent way to stop them. They still had Karan Caesar, but they didn't use him as much as I expected. For somebody that rushed for 1,200 yards in 2023, I was surprised of how little he was used in the rushing game and how much more he was used in the passing game. Meanwhile, their quarterback, who only threw for 141 yards last year, Romello Erickson Hubbard, he did good. But like I said, last year, across his entire performance under John Emmel, he only threw for 140 yards. So obviously with head coach Mark Macarone, maybe looking for a shift in direction, maybe looking for a change in their playbook and getting something new on the table under this new head coach. Because it's always difficult to have a new head coach join an already stacked roster. And with Penns Grove 6-6 last year, it'll definitely take some more time for them to adjust. But the big part of that won Paulsboro this game was that they wasted too much time. And there's levels to it. Collingswood did the right thing last night. They got 30 yards in 5 minutes, and that started at the beginning of the quarter.
Right.
Penns Grove wound down the time so much that instead of putting pressure on the defense, they put pressure on themselves to make the plays, and that's what got them in the end. I think if Penns Grove starts their drive 2 minutes earlier, we're talking about a very different situation. But Penns Grove literally kind of got bit by their own invention. They wound down the clock too much, and that's what Paulsboro won with. As we said, Paulsboro wins their first home opener since 2021, and how about this? Great opportunity for Kevin Harvey and the Paulsboro staff. After going 1-7 last year, we were going into this Audubon-Camden game with thoughts about if Paulsboro was going to have their first winless season in 112 years. And now they're already off to the right start in 2024. They've got some competitive matchups down the road, and we'll be hearing a lot about Paulsboro, I think, for the next couple of years. Obviously the Glenn Howard era is in the past, but sometimes things have to come to an end, and maybe new eras have to begin out of that. Now they play Audubon on Saturday the 7th at 11 a.m., and then Penns Grove is also, we're going to see them on September 27th on Friday versus the Woodstown Wolverines. So that'll be all for us tonight. 3 competitive games all throughout the weekend. Kip beat Gateway 16-0, and Collingswood took down Clayton 30-26. But how about back-to-back nights with games going down to the wire and the final whistle? That's always great, because last season was our pilot season, and we had a lot of bad games. I'll tell you, we had some 50-14 games. We had some stinkers, but this was a great weekend. From everybody here at DWB, our social media coordinators, Brandon DeKagerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Nelson Reeves. My producer, Ryan Sieber, my color commentator, Vincent Folks, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you on Wednesday for JUCO soccer between Mercer County and RCSJ Gloucester, and then football on Thursday between Lower Cape May and Gloucester. That'll be all for us tonight as Paulsboro gets their first win of 2024. Have a good one.